Just a little update on the homemade steady rest for the HERCUS. I've come in and I've got a bit more weld on our standoffs, our supports. And that's just a bit of 20mm bar, some of that stock that I cleaned up in one of the other videos on the lathe. As you can see, that's sort of all bearings are holding and turning in unison, supporting that piece. I think it looks quite good. It's a lot more sturdy, a lot firmer now that I've put that extra weld on. Certainly not welded out by any means. I just want to make sure that everything is exactly where it needs to be before I fully weld it out. I'm also going to use my roller bender, which I've done a video on, to make these inner pieces. I want to fill those in. I'll have to leave a portion of the bottom open so that I can get a socket in there to do up the nut that holds it to the plate on the underside of the bed of the lathe. But other than that, I'm going to basically fill in all that. Fill in all those areas there, all those gaps, and it'll do that all the way around apart from the bottom, and then sort of once that's welded out completely, I think from that point on it should be quite sturdy. So I think what I'll do now is I'll put it up in the lathe, we'll mount it up. We'll just use this bit of 20mm bit of bar stock that I've got here. We'll just use that just as a test and just give it a spin on the lathe. I'll probably put the lathe in back gears just so it's moving a bit slower, and we'll just see what happens, I guess. There she is, mounted up in the lathe. That's our bolt down which holds onto our plate underneath the bed. I've just got the supporting arms bearings down, just lightly touching our piece. I've locked them off with our bolts, and everything at this stage looks to be okay. So I suppose all we can do is give it a spin, see how she looks. Bit of vibration there, but I think that's more to do with the stock that I'm actually running in it. Looks pretty good to me. I think what I'll do is I'll just check, make sure we're not getting any excessive heat. Any of our bearings, they all still feel cool. That's pretty good. Let's give it another whirl. Alright, well, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not hearing anything or seeing anything that's causing any alarm, so I think with that, what I'll do now is when I get time over the next couple of days, I'll start to weld that out and look at picking up some stock. There's another one of my dogs running crazy in the backyard, chasing the other one, as they do. Sisters. Anyway. So yeah, I think I'll weld that out. We'll pick up the flat bar, get that bent, curved on the roller bender, and weld that in as well. Work out whether I'm going to put a permanent socket in there just for ease of use. I've got a few cheap ones sitting around that I can spare, so I might leave this as part 2 and I'll bring you back in a few days' time once I've made a bit more progress with the welding and all the rest. But I'm pretty happy with the way that's operating. That's what I intended. That's exactly what I was after. The other thing I'm going to consider too is to actually split it so that I can actually split the case. So rather than have to slide it on from the tailstock end, basically have it hinged so that I can flip it up and lower it down, lock it together, like a more traditional, more conventional steady rest. But that's something to have a look at it a bit later on. But so far I'm pretty happy with that, so we'll leave that there. We'll call that part 2, and I'll bring you back once I've done a little bit more. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. Thanks.